Cheap portable projectors promise a big screen experience for the price of a TV, but most of the time the picture looks washed out, the lamp burns out after a year, and you end up with a couch's-eyes disappointment. That's why, before I even pulled the LG CineBeam out of the box, I asked myself if the extra cost was really buying me something that actually solves those headaches. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The hesitation I felt wasn't just about the price tag. It was about whether an ultra-short-throw laser system could actually fit into a typical apartment, stay bright enough for daytime watching, and hold up without a costly lamp replacement. I've spent the last few weeks setting this thing up in a modest 2-bedroom flat, swapping it between a bedroom wall, a hallway, and a small home office. The first thing that struck me is how different the experience feels compared to a traditional throw projector that needs a few feet of distance. The CineBeam sits just 7.2 inches from the wall and instantly throws a 100-inch image, so you never have to worry about tripping over a long lens arm or aligning a ceiling mount. In practice, that means I can walk straight from the couch to the projector and press a button on my phone, and the picture is already there, filling the wall from edge to edge. For anyone who has tried to rig a conventional projector in a cramped living room, this ultra-short-throw design feels like a genuine time saver. The 4K UHD resolution is, of course, the headline. Watching a 4K Netflix series on that wall feels almost like sitting in a small theater. The detail is crisp enough that you can see individual strands of hair in a close-up shot without the image looking pixelated. The real surprise, though, is how the laser light source handles HDR10 content. The 3-channel laser engine, paired with dynamic tone mapping, pushes deep blacks while still letting bright highlights pop. I tested a recent sci-fi movie with heavy contrast scenes, and the shadow detail stayed visible without turning the whole frame into a gray mush. That's a level of HDR performance you rarely get from budget projectors that rely on a single white LED. Longevity is another point that separates this projector from the cheap alternatives. LG rates the laser light source for 20,000 hours, which translates to roughly 10 years of daily use. No more worrying about a lamp replacement bill every couple of years. In my own usage averaging 2 to 3 hours a night, the projector has already logged over 300 hours, and the brightness hasn't faded noticeably. For families with kids who binge-watch cartoons, or for gamers who run marathon sessions, that kind of endurance is a practical relief. Speaking of brightness, the CineBeam delivers 2,700 ANSI lumens. In a dimmed room, that's more than enough to produce a vivid, punchy picture, and the colors stay saturated even when the lights are on low. However, when I tried it in a sunlit kitchen with the blinds only partially closed, the image washed out enough that I had to pull the curtains. The bottom line, this projector shines best in controlled lighting environments. If you plan to watch movies in a bright living room during the day, you'll need to invest in blackout curtains or accept a dimmer picture. One of the less obvious strengths is the AI ThinQ integration. The remote feels a bit clunky, but you can control the projector with Google Assistant or Alexa without lifting a finger. I linked it to my Nest Hub, and a simple, "Hey Google, turn on the movie mode," switch the projector on, set the picture profile to cinema, and dim the smart lights in the room. That level of automation makes the whole setup feel more like a dedicated home theater than a makeshift screen. Now, no product is perfect, and the CineBeam does have a few practical compromises. The fan that cools the laser module is audible enough that you'll notice it during very quiet scenes. Think of a suspense thriller where the only sound is a ticking clock. It's not a roaring turbine, but it's a hum you might want to turn the volume down for. Also, the projector is relatively heavy, so while it's easy to place on a sturdy table, mounting it on a wall requires a specific bracket and a bit of DIY skill. If you're renting and can't make permanent modifications, you'll have to keep it on a piece of furniture, which limits the flush towel aesthetic some owners desire. Who should consider buying this? If you live in a small apartment, have a dedicated wall, or a large screen that you can afford to leave permanently, and you value a true 4K experience without the headache of lamp replacements, the LG CineBeam is a strong candidate. It also makes sense for gamers who want low input lag and HDR support, because the laser engine responds quickly and the picture stays consistent across fast motion. Families that watch a lot of streaming content will appreciate the easy voice control and the durability of the laser source. Who might skip it? If you're